All right. Turn off your dingers. There's the first ding. All right. Okay, perfect. All righty. We're going to call this meeting to order at 6:33. Gary, I'm assuming you're Gary.
Oh,
That's Gary.
No.
All right. Well, we'll hold on for Gary and we'll pick him in when we can.
He's coming.
All right. Okay. So 6:33, we're going to call the regular business meeting of October 2nd, 2024 to order. In the spirit of reconciliation, we begin by acknowledging the traditional territories of the people of Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta, which includes the Blackfoot Confederacy, members Siksika, Kainai, and Kainai First Nations, the Stoney Nakoda, Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Wesley First Nations, the Deniap Tsuut'ina First Nations, and the Métis Region 3, and all those that make Treaty 7 lands their home. All righty, so we only have 4 councillors in attendance tonight. We have Councillor Gordon was going to sign in from Edmonton. Is that Gary? No, Gary.
Everyone knows
Yeah. Jonathan Gordon is in Edmonton as well as Heather.
Yeah.
They're both in there. Separate events, not related to council. So if they sign in, they could be late, but that's all good. We have adoption of the consent agenda, please.
I'll give you that.
Brendan gives me that. Is there anything council would like to see removed and placed into the regular meeting agenda? We always move things over if we want. All right. Anything? Nothing else? Saying none? All in favor?
Yeah.
That is carried. All right. Thank you. Are there any additions to the regular agenda? That's carried.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Seeing none? All in favor? And that is carried. Question period. Question period is a 15-minute section of the council meeting held for the public to ask questions of council. You can phone, text, call, email, however you want to get a question into us. You can talk to a councillor. However, administration likes to get it at least 10 minutes before the council meeting starts. Usually we have blank sheets over in that little black box. So if you came into chambers, you could fill it out and hand it in prior. I now would ask Acting CAO, Ms. Florzone. Did we receive any questions via email to the town for question period?
No, we did not.
Alrighty, thank you. And for everyone in the gallery, this is Carrie Florzone, Acting CAO this evening, and she is the head planner for Diamond Valley. All right, moving on, statutory hearings. We have none. Delegations. We have Rowan House Executive Director Lynette Sullivan and Program Lead.
Sorry, Crystal changed.
I was going to say.
Program Lead Crystal Hoover.
Totally had that one, like, that spelling is not quite right.
That is my fault.
I was thinking there was some very interesting accenting used there.
We're
Crystal.
trying to see if you're paying attention.
Right, there you go. All right, ladies, you can sit up here at the table and there's a little button you can hit that'll illuminate red and that'll just give you a little extra volume. And I will hand you the floor, and once you're finished, just stay there. We might have some questions for you. Awesome, thank you. Floor is yours. There you go.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having us today. My name is Lynette Sullivan, and I'm the Executive Director, and this is Crystal Hoover, Community Engagement Program Lead. Today, domestic violence and abuse are at epidemic levels. Rates of police reported intimate partner violence and abuse experienced in rural areas is 75% higher than in urban areas. On average, every 2.5 days, one woman or girl is killed in Canada. Abuse comes in many forms, such as intimidation, threats, and control, financial, cultural, spiritual, medical, stalking, and harassment. It is important to tackle the unfair assumptions, stigma, and shame that have been attached to domestic violence and abuse for far too long. By supporting us in our endeavors to erase domestic violence and abuse, you are helping the communities we serve. We're here today to provide a short update on some of the supports we have available for the residents of Diamond Valley and how we can support you to make a difference for the people in your life who have been affected by violence and abuse, or perhaps the constituents you may come across in your work. Diamond Valley is very near and dear to us, as this was the original home of Rowan House Society. Almost 25 years ago, we opened a 2-bedroom basement suite with a capacity for just 2 women and up to 3 children each. We remained there until July of 2012, when we moved to the larger facility in High River, capable of supporting up to 25 individuals, and we have been providing support to the community of Diamond Valley ever since. Rowan House Society services the second largest geographic area in the province, with a total population of over 100,000 individuals. The areas served are Foothills County, MD of Willow Creek, and Vulcan County. At Rowan House Society, we provide a continuum of trauma-informed programs and services to help break the cycle of domestic violence and abuse in our communities by providing crisis intervention, long-term support, and preventative education and awareness. First, our 24-hour support line provides telephone and texting response to all individuals seeking crisis support, information, or navigation to the program or supports that best suit their needs. The 24-hour support line is available in multiple languages through CanTalk. For the April 1st to 2023 to March 31st, 2024 fiscal year, we responded to 2,294 calls and texts, which is a 15% increase from the previous year. Secondly, our emergency shelter, which is a short-term 30-day stay for women with or without children. The emergency shelter has 7 bedrooms with the capacity to support up to 24 individuals. From our fiscal year, the same time, April 1st, 2023 to March 31st, 2024, we supported 220 women and children, which was the same as the previous fiscal year. Children are remarkably perceptive. Their eyes observe, their ears listen, and their minds process the messages they absorb. If they see us patiently provide a happy atmosphere, they will imitate that attitude for the rest of their lives. Children learn how to treat others by observing how their environment that surrounds them treats others. We have a specialized children's program that not only allows children to just be kids again, but trains staff to provide them with tools for understanding their own big emotions and strategies for coping and healing. For the April 1st, 2023 to March 31st, 2024 fiscal year, we provided 2,398 hours of programming to children. The 4th program is the Preventative Education Program, which strives to break the cycle of abuse by providing healthy relationships groups for women and education and awareness for youth in schools, as well as presentations to the public. We are pleased to offer lunch and learn workshops to anyone who is interested. For our most recent fiscal year, we provided 125 presentations to 6,230 students, which was a 25% increase in the number of students. The 5th program is the Outreach Program, which is designed to address and meet the needs of all individuals, regardless of race, cultural or spiritual background, gender identity, or sexual orientation. We do this through one-to-one contact and support in a community setting. For the most recent fiscal year, we supported 105 individuals, which was a 2% increase from the previous fiscal year. And we also indirectly impacted an additional 115 children. The 6th program is the Court Support Program, which offers information and support to clients by developing a better understanding of family law matters and protection orders, while ensuring individuals are provided with wraparound support. For our recent fiscal year, we supported 84 individuals in this program and assisted 63 court orders. The last program, which was just introduced to Rowan House Society this year, is the Safe at Home program, which is designed to be an alternative approach to helping families experiencing domestic violence and abuse. The Safe at Home outreach worker provides support to the individual that is causing harm by providing one-to-one support,
group sessions, and an option to access a cool down approach. We have a data analyst who ensures data integrity and that all of our work is truly having the impact we hope and expect. We have a shelter facility and safety advisor dedicated to enhance the safety of all our staff members and clients.
All of these programs are accessible and offered at no cost, thanks to the generosity of the community. We did not receive an annual, we do receive an annual grant from the government, but it is restricted to specific programs. We haven't received an increase in that funding in a decade, since 2014, which you'll probably remember from the last time that we did come in front of council, and that has not changed since then. Everything else that we provide, we must fundraise through grants, fundraising, and donations. So the community is vital for Rowan House Society.
Our focus really is on collaborating with the community. Since January of this year, we have attended or hosted 34 events, including the Shimmy Mob right here in Diamond Valley. Our third annual golf tournament, very familiar, raised a record-setting $48,000. And we just wrapped up our 12th annual music event, Rhythms for Rowan House. We're center page in the newspaper. We have also formed many partnerships where we continue to work collaboratively to benefit all members of our community. Through these events and partnerships, we hope to increase awareness in the community so that everyone who needs support knows where to find it. We are pleased to advise that Rowan House Society will be honoring and commemorating our 25-year history in serving the communities of Foothills County, Vulcan County, and the MD of Willow Creek in January of 2025. How do we support the Diamond Valley area? In the last fiscal year, we provided 7 school presentations to 280 students in the Diamond Valley area. We are pleased to offer our first Healthy Relationship group in Diamond Valley on October 18th to November 22nd, 2024. Runs from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. And I just found out today that we already have 2 people registered for that.
2024 has been significant to Rowan House Society as we entered a new chapter by implementing our 3-year strategic plan, with a renewed focus on helping to serve even more individuals impacted by domestic violence and abuse in our communities. At Rowan House, we will not stand by and leave individuals to face violence and abuse alone. Our clients will continue to be the heart of everything we do as we continue to improve our client service delivery processes and systems and the ease of access to our clients to the different services that we provide. Every endeavor we take will be to develop new partnerships and build stronger alliances to further enhance our client service delivery. Our goal is to ensure we continue to reach individuals within our service delivery area. We know that everyone's path to addressing domestic violence and abuse in their life looks different, which is why we have so many options to help and why we're working to raise awareness about all those different options. Our hope is that after today's presentation, you have a little more confidence about how to refer someone should they trust you to share what they're going through. We would like to end with a quote by Nelson Mandela. We owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens in our society, a life free of violence and fear. Thank you for helping us shine a light on domestic violence and abuse in our communities. And one of the things I do want to share is for our Rhythms for Rowan House, we had a children's activity because it was a family event, and one of the children made this lantern to shine a light on domestic violence in our community. So I thought I would share it, and we hope to, for Family Violence Prevention Month that's coming up in November, to also bring that to our communities. So thank you again.
Thank you. I imagine I've got a proclamation coming in November then.
It's already been delivered.
Verda, too funny. Excellent. Council, any questions for Rowan House representatives? Lynette and Crystal? Yeah, I know that's it's a hard job, and you guys get to see stuff that we in normal society don't have to. And so thank you for taking that burden on. And I know we're supporting as much as we can through FCSS, I believe, to $3,000. Would that be correct, Hazel? Or so, yeah, so fantastic. No questions from council. Appreciate you coming in.
Again, we appreciate it too. Thank you.
And let us know for next year's golf. We'll put in a team.
We
Yeah,
will, we will.
Yeah.
It's actually so much fun. And next year you have to come to Rhythms as well.
Where was it hosted this year, Darcy?
It was at Darcy Ranch this year. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
And next year?
I think we're gonna do Highwood.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Hopefully, the year after, we hope to return to your guys.
Nice. Thank you.
Those are their courses.
All
Awesome.
right, thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Feel free to sit through the next 3 hours of council meeting, or you can just run it the door.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome, thanks. All right, 5.2, we have the Oil Fields Regional Arena Historical Adult User Group. Gary Cohen, Bob Anderson, Casey Brennan, Randy Brown, and Gary, I believe you're gonna come up to the center here. Same thing, you're just gonna hit the old button in the middle, and I'll give you the floor. No. It's all good, see? You got like the wingman in the back. All right, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Well, yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Gary Cowan. I'm the team manager of the Barn Cats, and we have Casey Byrne here with hot dogs. Bob Anderson with the fossils, and Randy traveling this week, so couldn't make it. Yeah, thanks for having us. You guys have the presentation that was given? Okay.
Yeah, and do we have it for on screen?
Well, I can read.
Yeah, I read the 5 pages.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for your patience. We're just on a bit of a fact-finding mission here over the last week or two. Yeah, so, you know, we are being, Harpels is here. We want to open up with that. It goes without saying that the next generation, the youth, are the priority, whether in shared sports facilities or anything else in life. We play high country hockey, and we have kids now in the Foothills County hockey program. So we do come at it with a balanced approach, and we know the importance of developing children. Yeah, so once again, over the past so many weeks, come to our attention that High Country Minor Hockey Association, got a lot of repeat terms here. Let's call them minor hockey. Had approached town council June 19th. That delegation to request the town council direct the ORA administration, ice schedulers to ensure that the youth to schedule their preferred times and then offer remaining available time options to the historical adult users. Call that adult hockey. Subsequently, that motion passed and the action was closed on the 31st. Yeah, and so we've been looking into that. Is it made aware of us through the ice distribution policy that was rolled out there back in September. So yeah, we do want to say it is collectively disappointing to hear that there was a final resolution was not achieved between minor hockey and the ice scheduling staff. That would have been between late May and early June, and minor hockey proceed directly to town council for intervention on that issue. Considering the factors further down this letter, it's deemed that it came down to a Thursday start time issue, that a 4:30 start time compromise by minor hockey was never intended to be acted upon. Going to town council for resolution between adults and local youth, we would like to say is an unprecedented action, as this is a hand-me-down league from our parents and others, that this is unprecedented that a resolution could not be determined between the three groups. And that we've always worked with the ebbs and flows of youth participation as it goes up and down through the years, and the ice bucket needs that arise every year. So yeah, weekday evening, adult groups. We've typically started between 9:30. We listed an exception last year with the Fossils. They were asked to go ahead to 8 as minor hockey didn't need the 7:45 to 9 slots. So just last year there was not a lot of need there. So and some other examples in the Barn Cats, we've bumped our traditional time back 15 minutes to accommodate the longer U18 game request in previous years. And the weekend league, a few years back, they've accommodated the Sunday request, so they bumped back their Sunday late game, which means they actually don't get off till 11:15, which is a work night. They continue to press on, but we want to make it known that they have very low attendance in those late games. But because it's a 6-8 team league, there's only 2 teams a week that need to play that slot, so it makes it more manageable. So they did want to make comments though that once again, the Randy Brown is across the street and he sees the rink parking lot empty on Sundays a lot of the time. So that is his take. He lives there, and yeah. Anyways, we just want to say that these compromises working together occurred under the previous policy, which is been around for the 2018 version, but a very long time, and that we were supposed to hold that spot, but we always want to work.
We moved our ice time we used 9:15, 9:30, and 9:45.
Yeah, 9:45. Yeah. So,
That's it.
anyways, no, thanks for that, Casey. Yeah. Anyway, so reading through the letter there from minor hockey, it is, it's like I said, it's heartfelt. The efforts need to organize minor hockey. We just felt like it was from one side of the narrative, and so this delegation request is to present our factors, and also there's some wording in the letter that we would counter argue. Exhausted all options, must move their ice time back in line with other starting times. So it's all there in the letter, but we also want to note that we don't appreciate the use of bigger league hockey term. It feels as it's derogatory, and adult rec hockey is a critical part of the community. Once again, it's a lifelong sport, so it provides a critical outlet to support men's health. Not just so much needed physical activity and fellowship in a jam-packed week that might not always be available in other settings in our busy lives, but also to support men's mental health. We know that especially important in children coming through the COVID era, but it cannot be ignored. Mental health is crucial for adults as well.
And just got a quick side note, things like, even though our team, we have 20 members on our team in the foothills, we play 7 other different teams that are all from the foothills, High River, Okotoks. Everybody's a little further than that and stuff like that, but it's not just our ice booking that it affects. Like, these guys don't get to come and, contribute. We'll have sometimes, Wednesday night, 9:45, we only have 5 guys from the other team show up. And they're coming in, you gotta remember, these ice bookings are in January, they're in February. This is, they're not always getting good weather. They're in blizzards, and the later it goes, the more everyone's impacted by it.
Right.
So it is more than just the 3 groups.
Right.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Let's get it. So do you have 4 teams? The Fossils, the Barn Cats?
And then the hot dogs are,
Hot dogs.
there are 3 teams, and the league has, I think, 7 teams.
Right, and you have 20 people on each one of those teams.
Well, 500 guys in roster.
20.
Yeah.
The league has 6 teams that got 20 people,
Right, 50 guys represent 3.
Yeah.
and the rec league. The weekend is
Yep.
usually little trailers on Tuesdays,
They went to Okotoks, I think, right?
Yeah.
They're still, we play them in the league, so they're still,
and this year
or playing our,
through my communication, hot dogs are
we're in Okotoks now.
so this year actually minor hockey is using the hot dog slot on Wednesday nights through a miscommunication, so
Okay.
the plan is to have them back next year, which is, you know, there's actually more ice this year that shouldn't have been for minor hockey even as well, so.
Okay.
Yep, okay, so yeah, I mean, this, through the fact finding, this motion was raised from a dispute for the Thursday evening ice time, so between minor hockey and Bob and the Fossils. So, yeah, just quickly going through the history, as we recall talking with administration staff and with the Fossils, we haven't had the opportunity to talk directly with the minor hockey, but yeah, Fossils reached out to the ice schedulers prior to the cutoff in mid-May. You know, they kind of knew that the 8 p.m. slot was a one-off, and so they're prepared to go back to the 9:30. Prior to then, the minor hockey, you know, was detailed in their letter, but they were not happy about the 4 p.m. start time and provided their reasons for that. And but they're requesting for 5:15 start on Thursdays. Fossils were then informed that their start time is pushed back to 10 p.m., which, you know, came as a great surprise. From let's get more reasons we'll list below. At such time, the Fossils countered with their historical start time of 9:30. And after a handful of discussions between the Fossils, minor hockey, and the ice schedulers, there was in passe, you know, a disagreement of 9:30 versus 10 start time. No further concessions made between minor hockey and the ice scheduler between late May and mid-June. When we gathered, it seemed the proposed 4:30 start time compromise by minor hockey never occurred. Ultimately, in the discussions to find a resolution. So June 19, with the motion passing to prioritize youth hockey, 5:15 was finalized, and the Fossils were informed it was 10 p.m. or give up their ice. And there was maybe hope at that time to maybe find a 4 to 5 time slot user locally, which did not happen. And was also part of the motion. It gave permission to the ice schedulers to start the Tuesday, Thursdays at 4:30. And the unused ice time of 30 minutes from 4 to 4:30 that minor hockey presented, being a financial burden, was no longer. And ice schedulers spoke with, and then it did move to 5, with no one booking that earlier slot. Giving it a slight repeat for the Fossils 9:45. But the big concern we have is administration approached with saying, okay, it's 4:30. We plan on here, they start at 4:30 Mondays, Tuesdays. Are you willing to move to 4:30 to allow the Fossils to start at 9:30, their historical start time? And the answer was no. They also are foregoing a flood between the first 2 ice times. So 4:30 would allow the flood to allow the Fossils to retain their 9:30 start time. Yeah, so we have, okay, we want to ask, yes, we have the questions. Oh, basically that, why was the 4:30 never compromised back in May, June, with that being an option that they had, like the other 2 days, Monday, Tuesdays? Why? And yeah, once there's no financial impact, why did they say no? So yeah, we feel that not all options were fully exhausted, or to mandate the Fossils move back, and it was not a must after all. And in these few short actions, this new ice distribution policy, we feel that it's not intending to meet its expectations, and it should be retracted. Also addressing the 10 start time, not in line with other start times in men's leagues. You know, every game is 9:45 earlier. We book ice all through Foothills County for 15 years. Myself, Bob, longer, Casey, all these teams, no one starts at 9:45 in Foothills County for men's Red Hawk hockey. This is
State or play state.
Unprecedented.
That's all.
unprecedented to ask for 10, 10, 15. Just stating the fact. So it's weird, but if you play late night rec hockey, you know, or any sports, you know, every 15-minute interval is crucial. It goes us like when we book games, 9:45 on a river versus 9 or 9:30, completely different people signing up to show up. So we really struggle the later the games are, away or home. Then we were talking about the magnitude. So I know there's, you know, minor hockey coaches and all those considerations they presented, which is valid, but we're also talking about the magnitude of 10 to 13 players per side each night impacted by these later times. And traditionally the ORA ice bookings are vacant from 11:30, aside from the one-off by the weekend league. That, you know, moved back to accommodate minor hockey already. So pushing us into that slot is another unprecedented and we find unacceptable. The reasons we already mentioned, but and more crucially, it'll lead to the eventual collapse of the team. Once you start having players play full time, once teams stop booking with you, these teams peter out. We've seen it, not through ice times necessarily, but these teams will collapse.
But our 9:45 stay, they won't come. They don't.
Yeah.
Once we got pushed from our 9:15 to 9:30, 9:45, they won't stay. They won't come. That's only one of the teams, right? So they're already, you know,
Yeah.
they only play 7.
So
So
no one's ventured into the 10 p.m.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying even with the times in advance, we've already seen us losing teams to play against, and again, more people to play those.
So we didn't put it in here, but you know, in years past, talking with Bob, the U18 major teams have practiced in the mornings before. I'm sure that was from ebbs and flows once again with Bill Ice time, more men's teams back in the day. That was a rite of passage for U18 teams. We get maybe now that spread all over the county, acreages, whatever, that morning practices, coaches getting to work, you know, but it's happened in years past. So what's changed now? I don't know. So that is an option, but not recorded in there. So in conclusion, we truly do want to work with the ICE staff and local youth groups and the opportunity to do so. Youth are priority, but with the ebbs and flows, we can't lose sight of that we got to balance between adults and youth. Once again, we find that this revised booking priority has hindered efforts working together and not helped based on the early track record versus decades past. And one thing that we do agree with is the 4:30 start. It seems this lines up nicely on how start times will be for other evening, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. 4:30 is we appreciate. I think both sides appreciate that. So that'll help in future years. And as I mentioned before, hockey is a lifelong sport. You know, so we have to invest in children, the attributes that go with that: teamwork, work ethic, district perseverance, all character builders. But applying that in adulthood as part of rec hockey is also part of the journey and in the sport of hockey. So, you know, these very U18 kids could be playing in these teams the next few years.
Mhm.
If they're still there.
Yeah, depending. And then, so we, sorry, one of the notes is, missed it before. So the U18 team, for example, is 42 players this year. 3 teams apparently. 1 team or almost no teams in the years past. And based on the histogram of ages, they could be down to 1 year, 1 team pretty quick as well. So we want to adjust for the flex, but knowing that this is ebbs and flows and it can be very short-lived, and we will lose players, we will lose opposing teams, and in a year or two, that is a very realistic future. outcomes, so. Okay, and then we have the motions. So it's plainly put here, I just snipped the old version out, that was in a report by administration staff, but based on the track record of this working for decades on end, we would like to return the ice bucking priority. This is the old snippet, maybe youth and adult users are on the same line. I think it was B, I think A is given to obviously special events. And we would, number 2, depending on decision from number 1, but we would like to cap the adult users at 9:45. Once again, this is vacant tradition, very vacant 11:30 X slots for booking. And for all the other reasons we described for Foothills County adult rec teams. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was 5 pages of stuff you didn't think you were gonna be writing in October, wasn't it?
No.
I gotta thank you for taking the time to do the history, because a lot of people come in and they just get angry and blurt whatever their issue is, and they don't want to do this. So this is really nice that you did this, seriously. It's fantastic. And I know it kind of gets sucky when you're sitting there and you're trying to read here and you're trying to read there and get your point across. So message received. Council, questions?
It's a quick one for Ben.
Seeing you're a hockey guy?
Well, yeah, I play in the Saturday and Sunday league. Why was Thursday at 4:30? Why did we not stick on that? This was in June and time remiss here. Was there a reason why, Mike?
Yeah, thank you. So as manager for the department overseeing it, I do have my colleague Laura McBean, who will be able to answer some of the details. And first, I also want to extend my thanks to all of you for taking the time to be able to put this together. It's very accurate, and I think it absolutely reflects some of the frustrations that we also have felt with regard to this. It's been very, very challenging. I want to preface this with minor hockey has had a huge increase in its participation and registration. And council had indicated in June that it was prioritizing that. And what that did was shifted everything around. To answer your question more directly, Councillor Kelly, is that minor hockey was not able to accommodate on Thursday that 4:30 start because their coaches were not able to get there on time. So it was one of those where we did our very best to try and work around the scheduling and to push it back as far as possible. And we've had many conversations, and I've had the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Anderson with regard to finding, a place to be able to put them where that would work a little bit better. So we have squeezed every 15-minute period that we can out of all of this, and this is what we've ended up with. The other thing too is that minor hockey is dictated by their association, which will not allow them to play past a certain time. So with all of that, and then with our staff working until midnight, all of that had to be taken into consideration. Short answer is that minor hockey was not able to work within that time frame. And we felt that there were very few choices. We tried very hard. Usually what we call arbitration, and I even find that that's a little bit of a strong word, is that we encourage all the groups to get together to be able to talk about it and work it out amongst themselves. And that's what we hope and that's what we expect, so that we're not coming in having to play the heavy. Your availability and schedules better, really, than any of us. So we try to respect everybody's point of view, but that is where it landed for this particular schedule.
Thanks, Mike.
And is this schedule written in stone now for the whole season? Is that the idea?
I'm going to defer to Laura so that she can explain sort of where we're at and some of, if we may, through the chair.
That's what I was going to say.
Because
So
this will be talked about during the policy, but are we permitted to answer these questions at this point in time?
Oh, I see. No, if it's on the agenda, we'll speak to it on the agenda.
Chair, it's an agenda item. The policy is back for council approval. And so debate and questions of that nature may be better left for that time.
Yes, agree. which is like right away, so we can quickly move that, so that's not a problem. Just what that means is, we have something on the agenda, which we do have the policy. We can't speak to it during a delegation, we can only speak to the questions when we bring that up. So basically, if we have no further questions for the delegation, we can just have them sit down, we can move on to that.
Yeah, let's move on to that.
Oh, that's a floor question.
The 4 o'clock thing, I'm not sure, so do you have a 4 o'clock slot or don't? And that got disrupted.
I'd like to defer to my colleague Laura Levine on that one.
Yeah, that one has, I'm gonna, I'll see, that's just a good question.
Through the chair. So we had the 4 o'clock start time originally. And then when it was presented to council back in June, that's when High Country Minor Hockey and the figure skaters said the 4 o'clock does not work for them. They're just burning money by doing the 4 o'clock. So then we moved it to 4:30 across the board. At that time, the hope was that that 4:30 time slot would be used by all user groups, which would then accommodate the Thursday night men as well. But at that time, when we presented that option to High Country Minor Hockey, they declined and said they were not able to make that 4:30 time slot work. And on that one night only, and that they would start at 5:15, which eventually moved to the 5 o'clock to help with the extra 15 minutes.
Yes, I talked to the, what's her name?
The president of
Yeah. Yeah, we come up, if nobody takes the 4 to 5 ice slot, they will move back to 5 o'clock. But 4:30, she said, just downright no.
Right, so,
But Tuesday they do it, but Thursday, no.
right, so you guys didn't take the 4 to 5 slot?
No,
They can't play.
we've always been,
Yeah, because they're.
we're Thursday night, we started at 9 o'clock,
Yeah, yeah,
back when the arena was built.
Yeah.
And we went to 9:15 to 9:30. Then last year, Les approached us to go back to 8 o'clock. They said the U18s wanted that time slot, so sure, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
But as long as I told Les, this is when he was still on, we've gone through this before.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, that wasn't Les's, I don't know whose decision that was, but it was Les that approached me. I didn't approach anybody.
Yeah.
Anyways, I knew it was a one-off.
okay,
So this year, then now you're going to 10 o'clock and
Yeah.
like, no, that's the
that's,
same as everybody else. It's just too late and
Yeah.
it just can't fly. But we did talk back and forth and come to 5 o'clock. Nobody took the 4 to 5 slot, so they'll move the start to 5 o'clock. That give me from 10 o'clock to 9:45, but
Okay.
still would like to get the 9:30, but maybe next year.
okay. Brendan, thank you for that, Bob.
No, I think I'll wait till we go to the,
Yeah.
till we go.
Let's
We'll
move on.
ask the questions that
Sure.
are crossing the line.
Sounds good. All right, thank you. Thank you. You guys do
Thanks,
thanks,
guys.
gallery, and
Thanks,
I'm moving right on to this right away, so. All right. Anyways, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, delegations complete. Motions arising from delegations, we have nil. Bylaws and policies, 6.1, council 018 ice distribution policy. All right. Ms. Forzo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This policy is being brought forward from the direction of council this summer. Monique LeBlanc and Laura Lee Bean are here as they have prepared the policy and procedure in accordance with council direction and are bringing it forward for approval tonight.
Excellent, thank you. And we do have questions, so we'll just hop right into them, just so we can get those ones off the bat. Cindy? Start with you.
Yeah, so it's been great to have the delegation because yes, we want to prioritize youth, but we don't want to give them unlimited in case they grow exponentially and then all of a sudden there's no room for adult hockey. So there needs to be a limit on that. I am interested, Ms. LeBlanc, you said that there's a limit on how long minor hockey lets them play. Like what time of night is that?
Thank you for the question. Councillor Holiday, it is currently 10:30 that they have to be finished by.
Okay, that is late. So it looks like before there was a protection, I'm assuming with the delegation talking about 10 PM, but I don't see anything like that in the new policy. So that could mean that minor hockey could conceivably go all the way up to 10:30. Right? There, unless we put some sort of cap on it. Or
Yeah, there is a cap.
where is that?
We're just looking at the,
The 10 PM it mentions for the fee adjustment.
Okay.
I'll have one clarifying question after your answer.
It's 3.6
Thank you.
of the distribution
Well,
policy.
3.6,
In the
that's the,
procedure.
I looked at that.
The procedures.
No, not in the procedure.
No. Is that excerpt that was in the delegation package isn't an excerpt from this policy, that's from an old one.
3.6 is the procedure.
Yeah, that's an old procedure, I'm assuming,
Oh,
not the new one that's in our agenda package.
Yeah, it's the old one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're looking at a new one.
Yeah.
And so my point being that having some limits.
I did write one and I'm just trying to find it.
Yeah.
I think the other challenge for minor hockey, so I'm from High Country Minor Hockey
Yes, please.
Board of Directors. The 4:30 start time for us is a big push, so we did a bit of a deep dive to understand the demographic and where kids are coming from and where kids might go to school if they have to ride the bus home. Getting back anywhere in the vicinity by 4:30 was really tough for parents. I think I believe it's on the Tuesday, we've got teams starting at 4:30. It's so that we can get everyone compressed. And I think we recognize that the men's league has got a bit of a tradition here and that's important. And we've tried to accommodate. So we've removed flood times. We're trying to start and get things done as quickly as we can. But I think as the demographics grow, and we are seeing that we have had a bit of an ebb and flow, but we are seeing strong registrations kind of all the way through the numbers right now. So it kind of feels like, we're kind of getting up to and that scale here, which, is great for the association. It's tough when there's one sheet of ice. But I think we're trying to do everything we can to compromise. We'll have up to 40 kids on that sheet of ice for a period of time to try to compress different age groups to make sure that other people can have access to the ice. And because we need to be off the ice because of policy. So the governing bodies would be Hockey Canada, Hockey Alberta, and then the Central Alberta Hockey League all have policies dictating when players need to be off the ice. And so I think typically it is our U18s that are on the back end of each of the evenings, and we do have 3 of those teams. But we might have a few U18 or 18, 17 coming in 18, but we have some 15 and 16, and actually the demographic is skewed towards that younger group of players rather than the older group. So that's where you get young kids having to get up and be ready for school. So getting off the ice, we want to get them off as early as we can too. So we're motivated there as well. It's just really challenging with after school to get them to the rink.
Thank you.
I don't know if it was allowed to have any questions, but I played my.
Both, but I kind of like to hear this, so.
I'd just like to know, like, how big does your demographic have to get before you guys move to morning practices? I played hockey my whole life, and I think I was in Adam when I started showing up at 6 a.m. at the rink.
Yep, and I
We
think
did
it's,
ours in High River.
So, well, that's good, guys. We don't want to have a back and forth down here. We only want to come this way, right? So, okay, we're good. So, my next, so
Did you have that?
for Cindy's answer, do I have that one?
So we found that information.
Thank you.
Yep, sure. Essentially, the factors to be considered, so the youth priority, historical usage, and the potential impact on revenue will be considered during the resolution process. So youth organizations cannot push historical adult users past the last available ice time. 1.25 hours. So
Where is
yeah, of the evening, so that is 3.6 of the procedure, and it is C.
It's on page,
56, 57? Yep, 57.
Well, add to that as
no
well.
mention of 10 PM though. No. In this. No.
Yes, you can go ahead, Hazel.
One more point
Yes,
to add.
please.
Through the chair, so with that, currently how it stands, operationally speaking, our staff requires all users to be off the ice by 11:30 in order to get done by the end of the night. So everyone's off the ice by 11:30, then the staff is out of there by 12:30 in the morning after cleaning up after the user groups. So, as that stands with the 1.25 hours. Originally, before having the meeting with the user groups, when we reviewed this, it did say 10 PM, but it was changed to that 1.25 hours. Which would mean that 10:15 would be the latest with that operational. Would be the latest that the men would start. Like the adult groups would start.
Did you say 10:15?
10:15.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Hazel next.
I'm gonna ask Bear's question. On the November schedule, it shows that the Thursday evening starts at 9:45. Will that be the standard time going forward? For the fossils,
For this year.
so,
instead of 9:30, so it's been pushed back another 15 minutes, yeah.
All right, and when we're talking ebbs and flows, so we're looking at the highest intake that we've had in years, is that right then? So that's why we're seeing this difficulty right now. Basically. Yes, please.
The challenge is also though in the available rental that we can't sell. So because of the changes in trying to accommodate, then there are times in there of rentable times that we just can't find user groups for because of the time period that it's being offered at. So it is challenging. In some ways, we have gaps, but we're not able to fill those with local groups.
Right. Okay. Okay.
no, I don't have any questions. I think we need to revisit, like, the
Please.
schedule's made.
Yeah.
I empathize with you guys big time on this. The schedule's already out this year. I don't necessarily feel comfortable approving this the way it is in terms of preference. I'd like to revisit it. I don't know if there's any sense in that right now. I just don't want to see this perpetuate year after year. I'd like to be able, if next year the enrollment's down, I'd like to open up the ice times again to make sure that we can accommodate maybe a 9:30 or earlier start time again. So I'm just kind of stuck in the middle.
For sure.
And me through the chair. So how this policy is those historical users would get that priority. So if the local youth didn't need those ice times at even 8:30, those would be offered to the historical adult users. So I believe it comes down to, with this policy, just changing what that latest start time could be for the historical adult
Okay.
users.
Thanks, Lynn. Okay. Yeah, please, Cindy.
Is 9:45 unreasonable for that latest start time?
We've done extensive research and maybe, you know, this area is a little bit different, but Laurie, maybe you can show your results on that.
If I may, based on this current schedules, if the youth start at 4:30 across the board, then I do not think it's unreasonable for that 9:45 start time. This year, we've been told by High Country Minor Hockey that this is probably where they would cap how many teams they had. I believe it's 13 teams they had for this season. And at this point, they feel that they will have to cap that because they won't be able to utilize morning ice. Is what we have been told and we understand. So with this new policy, based on whatever time we allow those historical adult users to start at, the rest of the ice would be offered to the youth up to that time. And then whatever they don't use would just bring the historical adult users to an earlier time slot. So whatever the policy states is, so if it's 9:45 or 10:15, whatever the case is, then that's what would be stated in policy. And then that would be the latest time that the historical adult users would start. So that gives the youth the chance to play up until, if it's 9:45, they play up until 9:30 on those days that, so the Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Yeah, this is, it's hard to squeeze more into nothing. We only have a limited amount of space. So we could take this to the next one, seeing it's not going to, we're not gonna make any magic wand movement here tonight. Schedule's made, so everyone can at least know exactly where we're at right now. But we definitely could have more council involvement on this. Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, in order to approve the policy, we would want to see any changes written, so. But because like this information just came to us this afternoon, I would like it just brought back to the next meeting with the 9:45 figured out. And what change, like where it would have to change in the policy and all that. I want it fully vetted, so I'd be happy to make the motion for administration to bring it back to the next meeting, and research the 9:45 issue.
Go ahead, Nathan.
Minnick, has there been a meeting with minor hockey and the historical adult users? And yourself?
Thanks for the question, Councilor Martin. On September 9th, I believe we held a user group meeting. Everybody was invited and there were two that attended, two representatives from two groups. The others had until September 20th to be able to provide comments, at which time we based any revisions and any final drafts of it prior to it being presented to council. We've also met with user groups in the past when we were updating them on the refrigeration system project, that type of thing. We've been in touch on a regular basis. They received notification starting in March with regard to requesting schedules, and then contracts are worked on. Deadlines are, I think, in May, and then the contracts are issued in and about over the summer period. And then this one, of course, was we wanted to make sure everybody was aware of the proposed policy, and that went out Also with notification that it was being presented at tonight's meeting, and that was out on Friday, I believe, or no, Monday. So there have been opportunities, but not everybody's able to make it. We understand and respect that.
Okay, we have a motion by Councillor Holiday to bring it to the next meeting with a little more information regarding the 9:45 start time. Yeah, and you know, we've been passing this around up here, and like the entire arena is booked solid from start to finish, and that's where we're just having a little bit of trouble wrapping our head around some of this. So give us a little bit of leeway here, and we'll see what we can do. Go ahead, Brendan.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys again for coming out. Typically, this isn't something the council gets involved in. And it's definitely, you know, I'm not a scheduling manager, and I empathize with Laura Lee and Monty trying to figure this out, as well as both your organizations that are here tonight. We obviously want to come to the best conclusion that's possible. And we'll work hard to do that for you guys. It's in our best interest. I play in the league on Saturday and Sunday, and Monday mornings are tough. And it's hard to get out on the Sunday night games sometimes. So I thank you guys for coming in tonight. It didn't fall on deaf ears, and we'll definitely bring this back and see what we can figure out.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Thank you again, guys. Ditto. All right, moving on. We got all the exciting stuff coming up now.
Oh.
Just kidding.
No.
See, municipal development plan, communication engagement.
Proclamation for fire safety week.
Yeah.
No.
Good job.
Thanks for
Good
coming
job,
tonight,
Jay.
man.
Good job.
Yeah.
All right, 7.1, the municipal development plan, communication and engagement plan, acting CAO Florazone. I believe this is your favorite wheelhouse.
Thank you very much, Mayor. The communication engagement plan for the municipal development plan has been provided to you, and in accordance with policy council -002, being the public participation policy, you must adopt it by resolution or make changes as you see fit before adoption.
I say, I agree with him. No,
Yeah.
you like what you've done.
And you give us a 2, Larry.
That council adopt the communication engagement plan for the municipal development plan prepared by B3 Companies of Canada Limited as the public participation plan supporting the development of a new municipal development plan as presented. And I would just like to add, I'm super excited. It's gonna be a great year.
Yeah,
Me too. I third that.
and I guess I'm fourth.
There you go. No, I really like the fact you locked down everything, clear, concise. It is on us to get it done, and you're pointing us in the right direction, so
I'll do it.
all good. Any further comments from council?
I did want to have one.
Yes, please.
If we can just like set as many meetings in advance as we can, these are the dates, and whoever can make it, and whoever does, no doodle polls, just get the meetings, just.
Yeah.
Let us know well.
Just as the date.
Yeah.
Through the chair, the first meeting of the steering committee will be the organizational meeting, and as you are familiar with what happens at an organizational meeting, we'll set the schedule on that date.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry.
Excellent. Do we need a chair or anything of this MDP committee, or are we being led by the nose and by the hand, nice and clean?
Thank you for the question, Mayor. The steering committee will have a chair and vice chair appointed in the case that the chair cannot make it. Going into the organizational meeting, I will assume that role until that person is voted upon and takes over.
Excellent, thank you. Nominate myself right now.
Spice. I'm just kidding.
Dibs.
No,
All in favor?
I don't even take on anymore.
Thank you.
I'll give you
We have 7.2 fire proclamation. You want to read it, Hazel? Is that what you just said?
I'm giving you
The motion? All right, give me the motion. I'm getting to the.
I'll read it for you if you want. Not if you want to.
Oh.
You're more than welcome to. No.
Oh, that's no fun. You read this one.
We're still out of here.
All right.
I'm a-
Hazel, give us the motion. All in favor?
Yes, sir.
Agreed. All right, fire prevention 2024 proclamation by Mayor Brendan Kelly.
Once upon a time. Fire Prevention Week 2024 proclamation. Whereas the town of Diamond Valley is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our town. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally, provincially, and nationally, and homes and are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas roughly 3 out of 5 fire deaths happen in homes with either no smoke alarms or with no working smoke alarms. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported death home fires almost in half. And whereas smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to the danger in the event of fire, in which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape safety. And whereas town of Diamond Valley residents should install smoke alarms in every sleeping room, outside each separate sleeping area, and on every level of the home, and make sure their smoking alarms meet the needs of their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas town of Diamond Valley residents should test smoke alarms at least once a month. Whereas residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Diamond Valley's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas the 2024 Fire Prevention Week theme, Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work for You, serves to remind us the importance of having working smoke alarms in the home. Therefore, I, Brendan Kelly, Councillor of the town of Diamond Valley, do hereby proclaim October 6th to 12th, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week, and I urge all of the people of Diamond Valley to make sure their homes have working smoke alarms and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Diamond Valley Fire Rescue. Thank you.
Excellent.
Can I ask a question just on that note?
Yeah, then I got a comment.
Okay, you can go comment
Oh,
first.
well, I just wanted to read the one, and I just want to point out, it says here, whereas the town of Diamond Valley residents should test smoke alarms at least once a month. I do that. I allow my wife to cook once a month.
Okay, great,
I'm the cook in there.
great.
Okay.
Just a quick question. I know that TJ's not here and I wanted to do that for him, but typically around this time of year, the fire department actually drives around and does the lights and does and then they have, is that just for the food drive? Do they not do a fire? Is it just the food drive they do that for? Okay, I thought it was for fire safety as well.
They don't do go door to door.
No, it must be the food drive.
Yeah.
Okay. So this year, there's 2 things gonna happen on that front. So
It's in November, I think.
Yeah.
Okay,
It'd be nice if they could coincide that for this week.
December 13th is gonna be the candy cane. Is it December 13th?
Oh, the candy
I think
cane event or
It's
whatever.
candy cane,
Stop.
Driving.
stop.
Yes.
And last year they had $788 donated just through doing that as a goodwill as well. They ended up with food donations to the food bank through doing that as well. So this year they're actually going to do some advertising. So people that are coming through the stop can actually bring cash or food.
People just driving around.
Yeah, I think so, right? But we, I shouldn't say we, but the Foothills Lions Club just supported the candy cane stop to the tune of $500 for 1,500 candy canes.
Great.
So last year they handed out 1,104 candy canes in a matter of an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's a very well-received program, and the fire hall, the EMS, and our police officers are all part of it. So it's not just, and our RCMP, so it's not just one element, it's the whole gamut. So, and they'll be there in force with the sirens and all. So,
That's incredible.
all right, thank you for reading that.
Yeah.
I'll sign that proclamation shortly.
I know TJ would be happy.
You betcha. 7.3 Marigold Library Systems Agreement Schedule C.
Let Heather give this one to you. She's on the board.
Hazel.
Second time. I'm sorry. That's worth than calling Turner Valley and Black Diamond.
It's like a Lana and a
Story.
Hamilton and a Holiday.
Sorry. Jeez.
That council authorizes Mayor Barry Crane to sign the Marigold Library System Schedule C for the proposed per capita levies for 2025 in the amount of $6.59. And for 2026 in the amount of $6.75, and supports the amended Marigold Library System Agreement presented, and further directs administration to return the fully executed Schedule C to Marigold Library System.
Excellent. I would just mention that I found out at the Alberta Munis Conference that you can get through the Marigold system a radon detection kit.
Oh, yeah.
And that is very cool. So
It's a day of high levels in source.
yeah, and so
Ongoing thing.
it's something that I think is going to be becoming more relevant moving forward. I think insurance companies are going to start picking up on that.
Yeah.
I had a session, sat down with the people at the trade show, and I thought it was quite interesting. So yeah, so you can get it for free to stick in your house and do a little test. Takes a week or so, and then you take the average and away you go. So anyway, any comments on the motion? I think we're clear as a bell. All in favor?
Yes, sir.
That is carried.
And may I make a second motion?
In favor, what is?
That could administration reach out to the Marigold Library System and ask that they update the Schedule A to remove council of the town of Diamond Valley, same as council of the town of Turner Valley, and replace it with council of the town of Diamond Valley.
It's on the website.
No, I'm special.
Schedule A.
Oh. Good you. Susan's stuff. No, your stuff. She's.
And we can also inform them that Mr. Todd Sharp is not the interim acting CAO.
That was the letter that they sent.
2024.
February.
Oh, yeah, he was.
It's crazy to think we
That's
were
right.
doing last year.
Gosh.
Yeah, because wild, because
Yeah, March
Adam didn't
1st.
start till
March 1st.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay,
Jeez, what a year.
good stuff. Any further comments?
No.
On the second motion?
No.
Do you need that in the motion or is it just a simple?
I'd take the motion.
Sure.
Just put it
All
out
fair.
there. Yeah, that way it's done.
Sure,
You
then
know,
send it.
Hazel doesn't have to think about A's and C.
Yeah.
You need to just roll off the tongue.
My wheezing laugh, the kids love it.
I don't know how much you're.
All right, go ahead, Hazel.
And you know, you probably don't know this yet. Do you have an estimate cost of the Marigold Library System levy for 2025? Because if we go by captive, I think it lists at 5341 as our population. I'm sure we're higher than that, are we not?
If I could through the chair, those numbers will come through the population regulation. The provincial government has a population regulation, and so those numbers come out, and it's through last year's numbers. I'd have to go and look them up. I'm not sure what they are, but yes, it will be whatever the schedule. A Schedule C is for that time period and that population.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see that at budget and now.
Well,
Okay, thank you.
True. No, we already did the all in favor.
Yeah.
We're moving on. Administrative inquiries, we have none. Notice of motions,
Just double check.
we have none. Closed meeting, I'm sure I could think of something.
You can think
None.
of walking in front of it.
Motions arising from closed session.
None.
Adjourned. At
Working fire.
7:46.